Hello, welcome to Design Time. I'm Jackie Lacey. We're going to continue today talking about the elements and principles of design as outlined in the AIFD Guide to Floral Design, and really the building blocks of every design that we do. Once we begin to understand how the elements and principles work together and why, we can begin to manipulate them. Remember that in a designer's career or lifespan, job time, there generally are three different levels, most people say. We begin with being more of a, put the flower here, a flower poker, so to speak. Put it here because that's what we're being taught. Once we truly understand how that works, and we have that desire to go forward or to be more than just a flower poker, then we want to become a flower designer, and we begin to manipulate the way those flowers work together. Once we truly understand that level and we reach the point where we want to become a floral artist, we appreciate the curve of a calla lily, the way that it extends on a branch or when laid on a piece of wood on a table as a centerpiece. We travel through three specific areas in each of our career, and then we begin to look at how things work together and why. And that's where the elements and principles come into play. We've looked at line, form, texture, and space, and today we're going to talk about fragrance. Now, why would fragrance be such an important part of the elements and principles of design? And it is an element, so it's one of the major parts. It's tactile, you can smell it. You can't truly see it, you can't truly touch fragrance, but you definitely can smell it. As defined by the Floral Guide, it's a pleasing aroma or appeals to the senses. Now, when it comes to flowers, we all know that have been in the industry for a while that it's not always pleasing. There are certain things that might have an offensive odor. And when we start to look at specific assignments when it comes to certification, or those of you that are competing, you might possibly be given an assignment where fragrance would be an important part of that. What are some of those examples? Let's think about it. When we're sending something to the hospital, we have to be very cautious that we're not going to put very overtly fragrant floral product in there because it's going to be in a small, confined space. As well as with hospitals, people have allergies. They might be allergic to a certain fragrance. A lot of people love the way lilies smell. But as they begin to warm up, once they've come out of the cooler and they go into a humid and arid place, they begin to release that fragrance. And if it's an abundance of them, it can be overwhelming in a small space. So you can see how fragrance can relate specifically to what you're doing. Some of the other pieces that you might want to think about, gardenias. Everyone loves gardenias. You see those beautiful little miniature gardenia bushes that can be given as gifts that can last a lifetime. But then when you see an entire shrubbery full of gardenia, or you do an event that may have a plethora of gardenias used in that, then we can see quickly how fragrance would come into play with that. If you're sitting at a table for dinner and you've got a very fragrant centerpiece that might have lilies and roses and hyacinth and other floral products like that, it could be overwhelming because of the space involved. If you're creating personal flowers that would be worn, you want to be cautious with using hyacinth blooms, gardenias, very fragrant flowers that are this close to your senses so that you could smell those constantly. So these are some of the reasons that fragrance are important when it comes to your competition and your certification. So think about this as you look at the assignments. Are the floral products that I'm being given to use appropriate for what they're being used for? Stock smells beautiful in the blooms up here. Has that sort of clove or spicy fragrance. Unfortunately, when the stems are in the water, they can have sort of a cabbage smell or an offensive smell in the water. And we all know how popular kale has been ornamental cabbage for designs trending forward right now. Looks beautiful in a design, but again, with that cabbage fragrance, it might be offensive to some if used in an area where it's going to be in close contact. Carnations, absolutely beautiful, but we all know that when we walk into a place of sympathy where a lot of carnations are being used, it can be overwhelming with all that fragrance. And then when it comes to roses, roses have been so hybridized that a lot of them have lost the fragrance that they have. So you just have to look at the varieties that you're using, what you're being asked to design in the particular format that you would be testing or being going for your certification, and then is it deemed appropriate to use a fragrant floral for this product? Maybe in a bridal bouquet, but not maybe in the corsage. So think about it when you're looking at fragrance and taking that element of design into consideration. Is this appropriate? Make that decision not based on just what you like, but what the recipient or the others that might be in the room would like as well. Remember this as you look at the elements and principles of design and combine those to fulfill the assignments that you're given. I hope this helps you understand the element of design fragrance and the way it works and why we have to be concerned about it. Be sure and join us again for our continuing series next time on the elements and principles of design. And look for us on YouTube, as well as check out our website, floriologyinstitute.com. Join us again next time for Design Time. If you enjoyed that video and you'd like to see more, click the subscribe button.